Welcome, Taurus, to your February monthly horoscope forecast for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. This month begins with the Sun and Mercury in the part of your scope that's to do with your interface with the world at large. So we're talking about responsibilities, obligations, ambitions, work, career, training potentially, which Mercury can have quite an impact around in this particular part of your situation. But on the 3rd, Mercury checks out and moves into the sign of Pisces, which is wonderful for you. This is much more sociable and gives you an opportunity to up your vibration in terms of connecting with others. But in this early part of the month, because Venus is also in the sign of Pisces, it's possible that you could find yourself socializing with people through your work or through some kind of professional organization, and that actually can be a pathway to make more friends, but also to improve your standing or the potential for you to make progress. Now on the 8th, Venus, your ruler, does move into the sign that precedes yours, Aries. Venus moving into this area also immediately combines with Chiron, the wounded healer. If there is some kind of chink in a close relationship of yours, it could come to the fore at this point. This particular transit can make you acutely sensitive if you feel that you're always the one who's doing the running, the person who shows the initiative. You don't seem to get much acknowledgement back or appreciation, or your needs are not highlighted in the same way. If there is a relationship like this, it doesn't have to be romantic, but it could be. It may come up quite sensitively at this point. However, on the 9th, we do have a full moon in the gorgeous and glorious Leo. But for you, this is about your home, family, and emotions. But there's a T-square between Uranus in your sign and the Sun on the other side of the heavens. It's possible that if you feel penned in either in terms of work and worldly responsibilities, or you're not getting that support more in an emotional context, you could find yourself being more outspoken or more rebellious than people are expecting. Perhaps it's right that you have to firm up your boundaries so that people take a bit more share of their part of the burden. Or it could be that you need to rebalance just inside yourself by getting enough rest and downtime, or perhaps breaking out of your home situation more and being a bit more ambitious and thrusting in the wider world. Now, Mars is going to forge an absolutely amazing move into the sign of Capricorn on the 16th. Mars loves being in Capricorn. It's exalted here, and for you this is about travel. It's about being more adventurous, more daring, taking some risks. And Mars then goes on to forge an ace link with Uranus in your sign for the following 9 days. You have a particular understanding and appreciation of stability. When things have a particular structure and routine, it makes you feel secure. But the planets this year are in particular encouraging you to try to change things up, be a bit more experimental. That old saying of a change is as good as a rest comes to mind. And if you're single, Mars is obviously about desire, Uranus is about being a bit freer within yourself. So the two together could see you make some kind of move, perhaps booking a holiday to somewhere exotic just on the spur of the moment. Perhaps it's going to be joining a dating site. Perhaps you're going to go off on an adventure weekend. Whatever you do, stepping outside your comfort zone can be so life-enhancing on the back of this change. Now on the 17th, Mercury does slam on the brakes. You've got to anticipate that through to the end of the month, there could be some cross wires, misunderstandings with friends, group activities, or perhaps a longer term plan could slow down a little bit. Now on the 18th, with Saturn and Pluto coming to the end of a very close alliance within 3 degrees, I think if you have been feeling the need to change things or to learn new skills or to push outside your comfort zone, a bit repressive or a bit scary in some ways, I think Saturn moving on from Pluto is going to lighten things up a little bit. We're going to have a lovely combination between Jupiter and Pluto, which will give you a much greater appreciation of change. That's yet to come. But on the 19th, the Sun moves into Pisces, collaborating with the energy that's there in that retrograde with Mercury, and that gives you a little bit more of a counterpoint. So if there is somebody that's not answering a text message or email, or seems to respond in a way you're not expecting, or a longer term plan is dragging its feet, the Sun can fortify you and give you extra confidence. But also the Sun then forges an amazing link with Mars in the second half of this month. If ever there was a time to really go for it in so many ways, this aspect would suggest this is it. But you will be reading and hearing that because Mercury is retrograde, that you've got to sit absolutely still and put everything off. I don't agree with this. Mercury retrograde in your sector of long-term planning, friendships and group activities suggests you may need to rethink some of those areas, but that could mean that perhaps you need to gravitate towards new objectives that meet the more spiritual side of your desires, the 11th house. It's more about your hopes and wishes. It's less about neat career. And I think Mars giving a substantive boost to the Sun is really saying this can be a time to go for it. So don't feel that you can't book a holiday or do something just because Mercury is retrograde. Of course, what we can do is micromanage all the details to try to make sure that nothing goes awry that we can control. Now, on the 23rd, there's a wonderful new moon in Pisces. It is also conjunct Black Moon Lilith. Is there somebody in your circle that you've got a little bit of a fascination with? Maybe a friend has got more of an evocative vibe about them than you've been prepared to admit to yourself. Or maybe you're going to be introduced to someone new, or perhaps you need to celebrate in a romantic relationship the things you share in common, but also acknowledge that if things get too predictable, they can lose their edge. So the angle between Mars and the Sun is pushing you along with this new moon to be much more go-getting, take the lead, do something completely different, and it can be very stimulating to you and yours. Now, your ruler, Venus, is going to be squaring up with Jupiter in the last few days of this month. It's possible if you are in a relationship which is not going so well, somebody could be a bit insincere. They could tell you something that's not true. Maybe they're going to be, you're going to encounter someone who's rather falsely and rather sort of, a little bit too sort of chummy, which doesn't feel quite right. Listen to your instincts about that. The Sun and Mercury meet as this month comes to a close, and that is going to be great to try to clarify where you are going to be going. Once Mercury moves forwards early next month, you are going to get greater clarity flowing through. But if you do find yourself rethinking some things, changing your objectives, don't beat yourself up about it. Mercury retrograde can be an extremely positive thing. It can also be an opportunity to fix something that's not working. So if there has been a relationship that has been creaking a little bit, a friendship, you haven't seen someone for a while, make the first move, see what happens. I think by the end of this month, you will be a lot clearer in lots of different ways. It's been a real pleasure being with you. If you'd like to know what 2020 will hold for you, you can get your forecast, plus any time from the point of purchase into the early part of 2021, plus your character analysis for 30% off if you see the link beneath this video. But for now, good luck and goodbye.